interesting. I forced quit over there. Oh, look how beautiful that is. Testing 1, 2, 3. Well, we're at 20 viewers.
Alright. So you're just waiting to start?
Yep, yeah, we'll start.
I just have to pee really fast.
Okay. Not wanting to fall.
Oh, dude. Not even on a thing, dude.
Yeah.
Let's get have fun.
Practicing.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You gotta do it.
I'll do it. Once it starts, I'll do it. Should load up my pee cup again.
They got a kaleidoscopic view of it there. Hey, Green Jesus. 20 viewers. We can do a little sound check here while we're waiting for the show to start. Give me some feedback on the sound. We put out the nice mic for this. Good morning, star screwers, moon chewers, horn blowers, look at what grew, what seed took hold. Spring peepers, deep sleepers, tiny grain of a true believers, planted by tool. Let's get this show on the road. Giddy up, don't look down, I'm letting go. Full speed ahead on a rollaway bed. Your tree, but you were just up out of reach. So I slept beneath, thought about us falling, landing in a sentence right at the writer's feet. Giddy up, don't look down, I'm letting go. Full speed ahead on a rollaway bed. Back and forth on our own little tornado. Giddy up, don't look down, I'm letting go. Full speed ahead on a rollaway bed. Still holding at 20. It's part of me that'll be so relieved if we don't get to 25.
I'm ready to go to bed.
Don't face blast. Don't twat. Just relax.
Wait, what happens at 25?
The show starts at 25.
Okay.
That's how we do our times from now on. It'll be like 9:25. 9's the time, and the other thing's the number of viewers we need to do it.
Right.
And we can even do like the three of us will fucking have sex at 3,000.
Sure. Done and done. I already did it. We're both of you. Fuck. What are you waiting for? I don't give a fuck. I just posted on mine. Does yours update?
Oh no, 21. Somebody go away.
Did you you did your thing? It updates everybody.
Mm-hmm. It's like 20 minutes ago.
Because I just did one on the Twitter. Another one.
Here, I'll try to cut the sensor off. Does it sound okay?
Live from Colon.
Oh no, 22. Somebody go away. All right, thank you. Creeper, 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 creeper. Oh, we're back at 22. Oh no. Is that 24?
Seems 25, dude.
Oh, really? Yeah. Damn it. Why did you guys have to show up? No, I'm just kidding. I'm glad you're here. 25 viewers, let the show begin.
Just show on the road.
Oh, whoa. Where is that? And when is that?
It's in here.
When?
the other camera? Maybe it's on. No. Kind of catching us with our pants down here. It's cool. Nothing to see here but some sausage.
Haha. There we are. Hey, welcome everybody to Hippie Fiasco Rides again. My name is Nathan Moore. I'm a songwriter from Stanton, Virginia, and I'm here with my road manager Chad Galactic and our business model Liz Bunny. She runs the merch table and makes us all look good. It's quite an adventure that we're in the midst of here. We left San Francisco on March 7th without a gig, without any gigs booked. It was a new way of looking at things. We'd done it the old way. I've done it the old way for 20 years, and I was getting a little tired of the venues and the booking the tour and trying to promote it and showing up and all the rigmarole, and just the way people were in those contexts was getting too predictable to me. So especially myself. And so we set out without any gigs booked, and we decided we were going to do 4 months, try to see all of America, and only play shows where people asked us to come. We weren't going to tell anybody where to go. We wanted to be told where to go. So we're only playing shows that we're invited to. People go to our website and click host a fiasco at hippiefiasco.com. And by filling out that form, they have successfully invited us, and so far every invitation that we've gotten, we've been able to honor. We're at the point now where we're over 2 months in, 2.5 months into the show, to the tour, to the experiment, and we should move this mic to reveal our new buddy.
Oh jeez.
Oh Jesus, right. Yep, this is
I have to be extra quiet.
this is
right up in here.
Squirrely, or I don't know what his name is.
Who's the other dude? Who's the other dude over here? Like,
It's true.
you're so sketchy.
Be flanked by him. So wait, what was I saying? Oh, we're 2.5 months in now, so it's getting to the point where we have enough invitations at this point to make it full circle back to High Sierra Music Festival, where this whole experiment ends, and I think we have enough invitations. You can look at our trajectory, and if you do see an open day and you live along the way, please invite us, and we will come.
You can find that trajectory on hippiefiasco.com under the map section. Or no, under the fiascos section will be our calendar.
Anybody feel like running and getting a little thing of bourbon?
From across the street?
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I have the right cash either. Do you?
Like a flasky size?
Yeah. Just something to wet the whistle. I got some ice here.
Right.
So for me, it actually started when I was 9 years old. I got a magic book for Christmas, and I got really lucky because it was a great book. It turns out I've since then have explored the whole library in one way or another. Turns out I got given a really great book. If it hadn't been that book, I might not have gotten stung. Might not have caught the bug as bad as I did, but it was a great book. And I was 9 years old. The first trick I remember I did for my mom and grandmom in the kitchen, and they gave me a dollar bill, and I read the serial number to them, and they wrote it down, and I put the dollar bill into an envelope, and then I set the envelope on fire right there in the living room. 9 years old, I was setting things on fire. And suddenly the smoke alarm goes off, and it was complete chaos for a few minutes. But then after we got the smoke alarm off and the smoke settled, I picked up a lemon out of the fruit bowl, took a knife, and cut the lemon. And in the center of the lemon was a dollar bill. And we pulled the dollar bill out and compared the serial numbers, and sure enough, it was the same dollar bill. I was 9 years old, and my mom and grandmom had no idea how I did it. It's the first time I even thought about the fact that my very first moment in the entertainment business involved a lemon. That's pretty cool. I think I know, think I know, think I know the way back home. I think I know, think I know, think I know the way back home. I didn't mean to stray so far, I was following a shining star in the middle of the day. It vanished, and with the night just came the dark. I met a wise old man, strange singer, he pointed down the road, his crooked finger, he gave me his hat, and that was that. I've been stung by fate's stinger. I think I know, think I know, think I know the way back home. That's your part. Think I know, think I know, think I know the way back home. Okay, I admit I fell in with the floating aces, but even they had their saving graces. I remember the first time we walked on air, the laughter, the looks on their faces. In every great leap lands in the hand of something greater that you can't understand. And those who think they know don't leap, and those who leap don't know a damn. I think I know, I think I know, I think I know the way back home. I think I know, I think I know, I think I know the way back home. Heart-shaped leaves, and I said to one, if I gave you mine, then what could I give to these? She said a river of music, a cobblestone bed, a brass bridge and boots of lead. If that's what you want, then that's what you're getting. She said, go ahead. I think I know, I think I know, I think I know the way back home. I think I know.
I saw when I went outside. I almost wanted to get the cast. It's fucking amazing.
Oh my god.
See if you can
It's
see
magic. Is it scary or beautiful?
It's beautiful. It's clouds and the sunset behind it. I don't know if you can really tell, but it's amazing.
So I want to thank everybody for coming to the show tonight. We're here in Colon, Michigan. So that was, I began my story. I was 9 years old, and actually we just got a little gift here. Let's get into this. We got all night, right? I love my new cooler. So then, when I was 12 years old, I got my first guitar, and started playing it and quickly started gaining, musical heroes. Of course, same time I got my first magic trick, I already wanted to be a musician just because I was raised with records and stuff, and it was probably about the same time, 9 years old, when I started spinning records and pretending I was the radio DJ, announcing them and then singing over all of them. I think there's still cassette recordings of me doing that somewhere in the family drawers. But magic was something that just sort of always stuck with me, followed me around, and there'd be times that I would find myself drawn back into the world deeply, and for months I'd get a new book, or I'd get a new trick, or I'd learn something, or I'd meet a magician, and it would inspire me and remind me of my love for it. And it would come and go a little bit, through school, through college, but it would always come back. And it seemed like each time that it came back into my life, it came back even stronger and deeper, until in my 20s it was the same. Sometimes it would go away for almost a year and then come back, and I'd be like, oh my god, I can't believe how much I love this. Or I'd find a magic store in a new town where I lived or something. In my 30s it started getting even stronger. This time it was when magic would come back into my life, it would stay even longer. I'd get even deeper. People wouldn't see me for months. What's he building in there? And then when I was probably 31 or so, or less, something like that, I had this vision. At one point I was in a phase where I was really deep into the magic again. And of course always the music thing was a constant, except when I'm going through writer's block. But all of a sudden I had this revelation that I could blend the music and the magic into one entity, into one personifiable, identifiable entity, and in a Mark Twain kind of spirit, changed my name for a little while to Percy Boyd. And the reason I picked Percy Boyd was because of a Canadian trilogy that I read. It was the written by Robertson Davies, and there was a character in this series called Percy Boyd Stanton, and his last name was spelled the same way as the town that I grew up in, Percy Boyd Stanton. So one night I was talking with my dad on the porch. We were actually drinking, smoking a turkey. It was the day I wrote, "Oh Dad, please don't mow the garden." And me, him, and my brother Daniel sat on the porch and got pretty liquored up, I'd have to say. It was a beautiful day. That turkey was just smoking. Something beautiful about slow cooked food. You can just sit by that turkey and watch it get better and better and better. And that's basically what we did. And at that point, I was reading that series at the time, and my dad came up with this idea. He thought I should have an alter ego. I started out telling a good story about how I just became Percy Boyd, the magician musician, and now I'm slipping into more of the truth. Because in a way, it's fair to tell that story like that. But the moment that I actually thought Percy Boyd would be a good alter ego name was a moment with my dad and brother drinking on the porch back home, when my dad thought that I should come up with an alter ego because I was unwilling just to sing covers. There's always been this other thing that I'm up to. I would almost not even consider me a songwriter in terms of this other thing that I've always been up to, but it's always been hard for me to just think that I could just play and sing a song and that would benefit anybody, anything. But I sang a song that night on the porch, as a Paul Simon tune or something, and Dad was just like, "See that right there? Like, your interpretation of songs, your interpretation of lyrics, that's what you could make a killing doing that. You should just, so you don't have to get all wrapped up in, your artist side or whatever all that is. You should just come up with an alter ego and go out there and do what you just did for me right there." As a matter of fact, I'm just realizing that I do believe it was funny because my brother and I were out there picking some tunes, and I often like to record us when we were playing some tunes on the porch. So I had a recording going, and then forgot it was going when Dad and I had this conversation. And really, this is the moment that I became Percy Boyd, and it's on tape somewhere. Sorry. Okay, I was wrong about that. I'm pretty sure it's on here, but I can't remember what it's called.
I have it because I remember hearing it.
Yeah, right? Oh, here it is. That's a good song.
There's something here. Alright, I'm gonna throw it out just like you did a little while ago. I'm gonna throw it out. I think you ought to develop
Can you hear that?
an alias. Become another person. Personally, I think you should.
Like Mark Twain.
No. Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what I'm saying. So, another person, a persona, if you will. I mean, if you go into Lexington and you play that song at one of their little bar things there, you've got all these couples and everything. I mean, that is powerful. You should develop this whole persona of performance because the world's missing something beautiful when you do what you just did. And you could do a whole thing. Nobody is doing what you do on that level right there.
Right.
That song you just did. Nobody else can do that. They're out there and they're making money.
Right. I feel like I should be recording this.
But you should be doing this, not, I mean, I'm being facetious, but you could have your own act based on being somebody else and go and make a lot of money. You could make a lot of money at what you just did.
I think that's an incredible idea. Maybe it should be an Islamic name.
No.
A Muslim name.
No, it should be a good old boy name. We want to bring him out.
How about
Well, a club-
Percy Boyd?
No,
Percy Boyd.
no.
What's wrong with Percy Boyd? So there it was. That was Dad and I on the porch the moment I decided to become Percy Boyd. So, not long after that was a deep magical point for me. I was deep into magic. Oh wait, why did I first ask you for that? Oh right, I remember. I was deep into magic, and then I thought, okay, I'll become Percy Boyd, the world's first sleight of hand musician, and I would just sing my songs, and incorporate magic into the act. And I have all these ideas that are really great vintage Percy Boyd ideas that I wish that I was more prepared to present for you. But there's these areas where I see magic crossing over into Percy Boyd that I think is new. Like, there are schools of thought in magic that actually can apply to the apparatus of music in a way that, I know there's magicians that play music, and I know there's musicians that are magicians, but this is a little bit deeper. This is a caricature. One example is thimble magic. There's a whole school of my black vest. There's a whole school of thought right there in magic about thimble routines. I think I have a thimble here, but where Percy Boyd crosses over from the thimbles is into the world of finger picks, and I can't find my finger picks right now, but I did find a thimble. But I've been working on this bit that I will perform. I wish tonight was the night, but of finger picks, where I take the I got the finger picks. Put the thimble down. I got the finger picks, 3 on here and the thumb pick, and I'm right here and I'm finger picking. And this is hard to do. It's probably the reason I'm not doing it for you right now, because I'd probably mess it up. I'd rather film myself and broadcast the movie. But I take it, I take the finger pick, and at one point I stop playing down here, and I take it and I throw it and I catch it on this finger, and then I use the finger pick on this finger to play slide, and I do a couple slide notes, and I throw it back, catch it back on this finger, back to 3 finger picks, throwing it back up. That's a pure Percy Boyd invention right there. Now there's a, like I say, I don't have any finger picks, but I do have this thimble, and what it basically just throw it up and catch it on the end of my finger like that. So I'm getting pretty good at the dexterity it takes, but I still, combining that with music is a little tough. Another area of magic that's really, really big. These are entire chapters in like a catalog of magic. There's an entire chapter on thimbles. There's an entire chapter on ropes. Now I took the chapter on ropes and I looked around me. I'm like, what do I have around me that looks like a rope? Is there a pair of scissors around here?
I'm looking for them.
Got it. All right. I had fun doing this to Zach Gill on the last Tour de Amour. Now, don't worry. I should be able to...
That's amazing.
Yeah, that just cut the mic cable. It was weird how the scissors probably...
Well, there's also, remember, this mic doesn't overrule the mic on the computer.
Right.
I mean, it'll just muffle it a lot.
So that's another area. A third area is that my lunchbox. There's something in magic called none of this is prepared. This is all off the cuff here, so forgive me. But there's this thing called the steel ball and tube. And here, Chad, take a look at that. That's a steel ball and a tube, and you notice the ball's a little bigger than the tube, right?
Yeah.
So the idea is to try to get the steel ball to go down through that tube, which is easier said than done. I can show you right here the ball. Well, Chad, you have to just believe Chad's testimony, and that's a steel ball and a metal tube.
It is.
But the idea is that if you think long and hard about it, that's what she said. Help me think here. Focus your energy on lowering. Oh, it's starting to go. Good job, creepers. Good job. There you go. Now let's bring it back.
That's how you
bring
go
it
balls
back.
deep in colon.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
And there, it's back out. Now, what does this remind you of? Unfortunately, I can't display this idea with this version, but I'll tell you what it reminds you of. The fucking slide for a guitar. I got to get it made and find the right ball with the right slide, but there's a whole routine with the slide and the ball, especially for a guy that's written songs like I Am a Rubber Ball. I got a loop pedal. Get that looping.
So. I hope you could hear that.
But there's a whole thing there. A lot of this stuff can't be seen from far away. Hippie Fiasco Rides Again actually is I'm glad we're getting transformed here in the magic capital of the world and reminded, because this video and our personal interactions and the intimacy of it all and the fact that we're streaming does allow for intimate magic to be a part of our bigger show and our vision. So this might, in this final leg, it might be a chance for me to solidify the Percy Boyd that does magic in the way that I was just talking about, using things that are, I want to saw my guitar in half someday. Some of these things, of course, take a budget that I don't have too. The dreams I have before I fall asleep of tricks that would be amazing. So let me play another song, and then we'll get caught back up with trying to get this story all the way here. For those just tuning in, I'm Nathan Moore, and this is Hippie Fiasco Rides Again. And tonight we're doing a very special show from the magic capital of the world, of the whole flippin' world. So we're here, and what we're gonna do tonight is, it's a 3-part show. I'm taking the first shift in telling this story of what magic means to me. The second half of the show is going to be a special Liz Bunny off the deep end, where she is going to talk to you from the bath about how awkward some things can be, basically. And then after that, Chad Galactic's going to host a special episode of his Just the Tips. Did I say it right? I'm working on it. Just the tips.
And for that,
with
you
Chad
gotta come up
Galactic.
with questions.
It's a call-in show. We got the hotline number posted on our website. People are going to call the hotline and ask for advice. And they're not only asking for advice from Chad, but from everybody that's watching. And it's a participatory event. But Chad's a genius at answering questions. Not necessarily, with the right answers. But
Right.
but man, he's gonna fill you in and up and
Right, and it's about relationships, whether they're
Right.
like up and coming relationships or current relationships that are fresh, or old relationships, ways to spice it up, or make ways to ensure or up your ante, if you're trying to get a relationship to happen, if you're trying to keep zest or excitement in there. I have a lot of answers. I can respond to your questions in a better way than I can respond to the questions that I have about my relationships, because I'm not involved in yours and I can see it from an outside perspective. So prepare some questions, otherwise it's going to be a really boring fucking show. It'll be me in the bathtub with no water, naked. Good idea. Fucking sausage with Chad Galactic.
I wanna play like Jelly Roll Morton, ride like Waldo Emerson, sing like Odetta, say give me liberty like Patrick Henry. I wanna escape like Houdini on the very last breath. I wanna fly straight as an arrow, crooked sparrow. I wanna swallow fire, I wanna paint the town red. I wanna understand under, hold the whole world up over my head. Yeah, I wanna be a stand-up comedian. I wanna start a new twist in philosophy. I wanna be a cowboy and an Indian. I wanna be an E. Cummings apostrophe. I wanna be fluent in every language. I wanna be a painter. I wanna be the next Abby Hoffman. I wanna be the mayor of my hometown in the Blue Ridge Mountains. I gotta get there more often. I wanna die in battle, grow old with a wife, catch every kind of fish. But I'd give anything if I could play the fiddle. I wanna know the recipe for every dish. I wanna bust some moves on the dance floor. I wanna sit in the back of a smoky debaucherous den. I wanna live to be 120, tell wondrous tales to my great grandchildren. I wanna take the plunge to the depths of madness. I wanna sit in the clear like a Buddhist monk. I wanna turn the tables like Jesus. I wanna cross all borders in a smuggler's trunk. I wanna write code, rogue programmer. I wanna sell potions inside of the street. I wanna survive some grisly summer, learning which berries are safe to eat. By plain smoking, be able to fix anything that gets broken. Wanna hang on when the question is spoken. Wanna let go when the wind is blowing. I want a light bulb to go off in my head like Tesla. Wanna get my brain around what Einstein said. I wanna understand. Hold the whole world up over my head. So, the next thing that happened to me of interest to this story was I attended my first magic flea market. It happened to be like within a half an hour of my house, and I heard about it that day. Like, oh, you should go. There's like going to be people setting up tables and all this stuff. And I went there, and that was a night that changed my life. I have a small blue Mazda, I think it's called. It's a small little sports car. Gets pretty good gas mileage, and I'm not home very much. But it's my little car, and I drove it to this place, and I pretty much left that place with my car stuffed to the gills, and it was all because of meeting this one older man that apparently was just trying to get rid of everything in his garage, and he had been a dealer for 50 years. And he had all this stuff. And a lot of it was stuff I'd only seen in magic ads and in books and stuff, because I'd never been a big, never had a lot of money to buy a lot of the props. I could just sort of appreciate the idea of things. But suddenly I had all this stuff, the props and everything. And, if I didn't love magic enough already, now I was just in, because every single little device, every wooden box, every little thing, the stuff did was magic. Get that?
Yes.
Are you with me? But one of the without going off on too much of a tangent, thinking about all the glorious illusions and effects there are, and that I got that night. One thing that definitely changed me was a gift that he gave me of this box. It was a box about this big of about 50 magazines from the 40s. A magazine called Topps Magic magazine that was put out by a store called Abbott's Magic, and he gave me this box of these old 40s magazines, and I always loved the looks of old things. It's just my aesthetic. It's what I like, 20s, 30s, 40s. I mean, come on. I wish we still all had to dress like that, although I bet it was really uncomfortable. But that aesthetic has just always pleased me. So I get home and I start looking through these magazines, and I realize, like, oh my God, these are the most beautiful things I'd ever seen. Sorry, I'm about to show you something, and I'm gonna clear this table off of the junk. But so So I get them home and I'm looking at it and I'm like, these are just too beautiful. They were falling apart. They weren't really collector's items. I wouldn't have been able to sell them for money or anything like that. I never would, but it wasn't sacrilege to do what I did, I don't think. And I began cutting out the ads and decoupaging them to boxes. This is about 6 years ago, maybe. And I started selling my boxes at on my merch table. Now, one thing that I quickly got freaked out about when I started reading these magazines was that you see this name up here, Abbott's. That's the name of the store that put out Topps magazine. Abbott himself was the editor of the magazine, so there was a lot of editors to the magazine, a lot of tricks named after him and stuff like that. And ladies and gentlemen, I could almost not believe it when I discovered that Abbott's first name is Percy. Percy Abbott. So all of a sudden, all through these boxes and stuff I'm making are phrases like a personal message from Percy. I would have made these boxes probably anyways, but this was just too much for me. I almost exploded. It was almost spontaneous combustion. Percy Abbott. So I was gluing, I had percyboyd.com created and everything, and here I am making these boxes vintage from the 40s with magic that I love, that I probably would have made anyways, because there's something about it that's me. Here's one I made from a box that I got here in the magic capital of the world. It actually slides open. That's some more Abbott's art there. In fact, if you just rub it, because I got it here in colon, of course it's going to have some properties that some of the other boxes don't have. But so I've been making these and selling them on my merch table for about 6 years. My Percy's Magic boxes. Well, it was about 2 or 3 years later that I even realized for the first time that this store, Abbott, still existed out there. I had been gluing this colon Michigan to these boxes because I thought it was funny, as funny as Chad thinks it's funny now. I also thought it was funny, especially for someone that suffers from entertainment industry induced IBS. Colon Michigan. I chuckled every time I glued one of those addresses to a box. Let me see if any of these have it on there. Well, you get the idea. So then I found out that I was like, hey, wait, this place still exists. That's cool. And I actually went ahead and put in an ordered a few things from them. And they had a lot of the old school stuff, and I really liked that. So a little while back, maybe at the beginning of the year, I saw that they were having an annual flea market, and I went ahead and put it on my calendar because I thought it'd be so cool to come up here with my boxes and try to sell them at the flea market. And that was months and months ago. And then I almost forgot about it when Hippie Fiasco decided to ride again, and we rode again. And it was already on my calendar, and Chad started using my Google Calendar for filling in the days. He's like, well, what's this Colon, Michigan thing? I'm like, oh, it's a flea market. It'd be great if it could fit in, but, we have to follow our leader, follow the muse. And lo and behold, she brought us right here to the doorstep. It worked out perfectly in our trajectory to be here now, and we've gotten to spend a few days here in Colon, Michigan, the home of Abbott's Magic. So part of me is coming full circle in that sense. Let's see, let's do another song and then I'll finish the story. trying to think of what other. Alright, someone do me a favor. Creeper, go to percyboyd.com and click on Song Database and type the word magic into the searchable database, and then tell me what's the first song that comes up. I'd actually be curious to know the name of every song that comes up with magic in it. There's a lot of the songs that we've worked magic into don't say the word magic. Like surprisingly, Mr. Davis has a song called One Sick Knave that actually reveals a method which is a sacrilege in the world of magic. There's 3 rules in the world of magic. The first is practice, practice, practice. Don't do a trick until you're comfortable doing it for anybody else. The second rule is never repeat the same trick to the same person. And the third rule is never tell how it's done. So every now and again I break that rule. All right, well, So Close to Dreams was first, and how would, and maybe, and Someday, yeah, I guess that's alphabetical. Maybe Someday, maybe some, right. Awesome, thanks for doing that. Oh shit, what was I saying?
Sorry.
No,
Rules.
what's that?
The 3 rules.
Oh, I said 3 rules. Oh, but One Sick Knave, actually, there's, sometimes you can actually stack a deck of cards, and I feel bad talking about that because I don't do it very much. I've gotten into it before, but I don't do it now. But with a prearranged deck of cards, you can perform some miracles. And one way that people remember how things are supposed to, the order, the way they're supposed to be set up, the way they do it is by coming up with a sentence where, like in the sentence I'm thinking of now is, and I'm not sure this covers the whole thing, but a paraphrase of it is 9 fine ladies threatened to say, 8 kings threatened to save 9 fine ladies from 1 sick knave. 8 kings, 3, 10, 2, 7, ace, 9, 5, 9 fine ladies, 9, 5, queen, 9, 5 ladies from ace, 6, jack. 8 kings threaten to save 9 fine ladies from 1 sick knave. And Davis snuck that into a verse. The song, I can't really do this by myself, but the song is if you're so unhappy, why don't, I haven't done this in a long time. If you're so unhappy, why don't you do what you came here to do? I see the loneliest faces in those places where you cast your view. So won't you be all the- if you're so unhappy, why don't you do what you came here to do? Seen the loneliest. So unhappy, why don't you do what you came here to do?
Play all the cards with
Play all your cards. I knew it was the aces that were dealt to you, but I can't. Play all these cards, but not the aces that were dealt to. has more to do with you and me. I don't know if I've ever played this song by myself unless I was practicing it right before a Davis tour. You followed the queen, but you never once saw her face. And this is the reason I'm even bothering to try, is because this verse is all magic references. You followed the queen, but you never once saw her face. You followed the queen, but you never once saw her face. And an old adage in magic, it's like, you know, a lot of magic involves misdirection and getting people to look where you want, and a lot of times magicians will panic. They'll feel like they've revealed something when they actually haven't. And you know, it's a terrible feeling. I've been there a million times. I'm like, oh my God, I just revealed the method, and when no one's actually seen anything yet. So you start making moves to cover up something no one's ever seen, and that's called running when you're not being chased. You started running even though you weren't being chased. It seems the king that you carried with the joker had been replaced. Nine fine ladies threatened to save one slave. Gonna have to move. Gonna have to move. It's gonna be trouble in the house of fools. Gonna have to leave. Gonna have to leave. Gonna be trouble in the house of thieves. 'Cause they don't want to help you to be free. And this has more to do with well, Brad's not here. But yeah, sorry about that, guys. That was a bit of a gyoza, a bit of a fail. But my subconscious didn't fail me. It was perfect to pick that tune. It just had no idea. My conscious brain didn't have a clue how to do it. But yeah, those verses riddled with magic references. So actually, I'm gonna play you a little bit of the day. This is when we arose in here at the live. I always want to say the live magic capital of the world, because my first great leap in life really was when I quit college and got a one-way ticket to Austin, Texas. That was the live music capital of the world. And through my childhood, I'd heard Austin, Texas. It was like friends of my dad's. It was like the one place they'd ever gone. So I just always heard about Austin, Texas being the live music capital of the world. And so when I quit college, I got a one-way ticket to Austin, Texas, the live music capital of the world. That's where I met Dave and Amy, and we started the Musement and moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico. But we're here now in Cullen. I keep wanting to call it the live magic capital of the world. But it's just the magic capital of the world. In fact, we haven't really seen any live magic yet. Except for in person with people that we've met. So, all right, well, here's the next part of the story, and then I'll show you a video that relates to it. We go to the magic flea market. I tried to get a table to sell my boxes and was too late getting a table. They had filled up. We get into Cullen the day before. I hadn't slept hardly any the night before. And we get up here and we get a hotel room not far from where we have to be, and it starts at 9 the next morning and goes till 2. Well, I was so excited about the flea market. I was like a kid on Christmas Eve. I couldn't sleep, even though I hadn't slept the night before. I again couldn't sleep because I was so excited.
Verifiable.
I got verification from the room, and so at about 6 o'clock in the morning, I finally fell asleep and slept through the 8 o'clock alarm, and we got there probably around, I don't know, what time did we get there, Liz? Like 11:30? Is she asleep?
Yeah.
It was like 11:30 or something, and so by the time we got there, things were already moving a little too fast for me. I started looking at the tables, falling in love with things, saying, all right, I'm going to be back. I don't want to buy anything until I've seen everything. Then all of a sudden they're like, all right, it's auction time. And we all go sit in the bleachers, and we're up there, and they're auctioning things off. And the only thing I got in the auction was this dude and his friend. But they're really righteous because they both look, I think, the same. But they come in these old head boxes on mannequins. They're definitely packed for the Fiasco rides again. Beautiful vintage hat boxes, mannequin heads on the inside, and little dowel rods that are implanted into the bottom for the mannequin. I mean, they're like professionally packed. It's so funny. I got them for $11 at the auction. But the auction would take about 20 minutes, and then we'd all go back out, and I made my way through another table, and then it was auction time again, and then all of a sudden it was over, and I had only seen a few things, and I was grabbing the stuff that I knew that I liked, and I was missing all this other stuff that I didn't even get to see, and I was like going crazy because it was all so beautiful, and that's why the time went so fast, is because everything was just so amazing and old and cheap and magic, and that's just right up my alley. I go into like a new magic store with all the stuff the kids are into, and I could just care less, but show me an old wooden actual rattle box or things that all these things that are just so beautiful, these genius old creations. And so it was all just sort of happening too fast, and I was a little sad, and you know, my collection of 50 Topps magazines has been depleting, and I'm, you know, not that close to the end, but I can see it happening. I can see the checkered flag up ahead, and so I've always wondered what I was going to do when I ran out. And I got to talking to this guy. I had seen some Topps magazines, some catalogs and stuff on this guy's table, and I went over, and he had already packed everything up, and I said, I saw some Abbott's catalogs and things on your table that they were like $10 each or something. And he looks at me, he's like, you can have them. You can take them. I get talking to the guy, and this guy is the son of the last living famous magician in Colon, Michigan. This Colon, Michigan has a long history, which I'm going to tell you a little bit more about here in a minute. But his father was part of the Conklin family, and Jerry Conklin, and the Conklin family traveled all over the world performing stage illusions, and Jerry Conklin died last year, and he was the last resident of Colon that was actually a sort of famous magician. Although a lot of famous magicians have lived here over the years, he was sort of the last, and that was his son that was there, getting rid of some of, you know, a lot of what his father had in the garage and stuff. And so from that, this guy, just out of the blue, gave me a box full of Abbott's catalogs. And I didn't even really know till we got back to the hotel room what he had truly given me. Look at this. Here's one of the catalogs, number 7. You can see it's actually signed in the corner by Jerry Conklin. This was his Abbott's catalog. He just never threw anything away. And instead of just a list of tricks, this is like for dealers back in the day. This wasn't like sold to the public. It was basically, well, I mean, I guess probably was, but this is a catalog and inventory of all their tricks. I had no idea, but that it was actually going to be the fully illustrated, exactly what I've been making my boxes out of. Except my boxes come from the first 3 pages and the last 3 pages of the magazine where they actually advertise the tricks. And this is actually an entire book full of the first 3 pages and the last 3 pages of those magazines. It's all right there. And again, like the first box that was given to me for free, this box was given to me for free. And if you think about it, it sort of kept me up again last night, just thinking about the idea that of how the serendipity that was involved with getting that first set of boxes, the fact I've been making these boxes for years, not even knowing that the store still existed, to find myself here. The guy, if he told me if he hadn't sold them, they were just going to throw them away. I'm probably the only guy that's looking for this. I was probably in the only place on the planet at the only time to receive an actual box of 1940s Abbott's paraphernalia, Abbott's Magic ads, the fodder that I used to make my boxes. I was actually at the point in time and the place on earth to get a box of them to keep my boxes going, probably now for the rest of my life. And you know, when I first thought that, I knew it was neat, but last night when I was laying in bed, I realized that it was actually profound. And I want to play a little clip here for you of Jerry Conklin's son, and he's telling a story at first, in case you can't hear him very good. He's telling a story that his first magic show, when he was a little kid, was actually in the auditorium where we were, where the flea market was taking place. That was his first magic show when he was a kid, and he said he was up there, and right before he was about to go on, the principal came up and says, sorry to interrupt, but I have an important announcement. President Kennedy has been shot. President Kennedy has been shot. And then he stepped away, and they're like, okay, now it's time for, I forget his first name, but Conklin, you're up. And after that announcement, he had to do his very first magic show when he was a kid. And Hippie Fiasco was there, of course, when he was telling me this story. Give me just a second to call this up. Sorry. Okay. Here he is, the son of the last famous magician that lived in Colon, Michigan. What camera is there another camera that's possibly on? No. There you go. Oh, wait. Right there, he was just telling me the story. He was like, well, just last week I threw away a whole box of old Topps magazines. And I was just like, don't even begin to tell me that story. And then he thought I was kidding about don't tell me that. And I was like, no, don't tell me that. I will lose sleep.
Don't torture me like that. I lose sleep over it. All my dad's Topps that he got back from the early 50s. I don't need to hear it. I really don't. I actually lose sleep because of information like that. Yeah. Stuff I missed in life. I grew up here in Pullman. So. Oh, wow. Yeah, went to this really cool. I performed a magic show on that stage. I was telling some people. When I was 10 years old, I had an assembly. And I performed up there, and just before I got ready to go on, the principal came out in tears and announced that President Kennedy had just been shot. Oh, you are kidding.
Oh my gosh.
No, and then in the same breath, President Kennedy has been shot, and then she turned and looked at me and said, and now, Mike Conklin. You are kidding. Here's all the teachers. I still remember it to this day. I mean, I'm 58, but you know, I was 10 years old, but I remember looking out, the teachers are bawling, they're crying. Of course, the kids don't know what's going on. They're too young to understand, you know. So they enjoyed the show, but the teachers, it was, I never.
Unbelievable.
That's one of those things you just never forget.
Yeah, I'll stay.
Unbelievable.
Well, thanks for stopping
Oh,
by.
I love it. I love it.
Enjoy that clown mask.
Chad's
It's
gonna
because
love
of this
them.
webcast when I got those. I know that it's going to look so. We're going till July the 4th, and you find another little box of those Abbott's. You find another little box of those Abbott's magazines. Give me a call and stuff. Swing back by on the way from Wow.
That's sacrilege. Is that you doing that? It was sacrilege for him to have him out there. Not having fun with that. Yeah. You see what I mean though? Look at all these boxes. This whole room is full of boxes like that, and I need days to do a thing like this. I could spend an hour just looking at each thing in that box, trying to decide what I wanted. The whole thing was very overwhelming and exhausting.
Oh yeah?
To be.
He's a magician. I'm just but I think he'd like this box.
Oh my goodness. Strings cut inside there. This one floats. That's a story about our family. Look at that. I'll float it right back into the box.
What?
Okay. Yep.
I'm still talking to Conklin Jr. over there.
It's just a microphone mixer is what it is.
This is his family.
Oh my goodness.
There they are, the amazing Conklins.
Mom and Dad on here?
Yeah, that's my mom and dad, and then it was just an assistant that they hired there.
Amazing.
And this is our life story right there.
Wow.
Like I said, my dad kept everything. That's why he had all these posters and all of those tear sheets. And
Of course, he's like me.
Yeah.
There you go. That was the Conklin, and so I got those got those boxes. Oh, I was getting a little sweaty. Should put my coat back on. Show. We're trying to be like a real TV show, but we're really just a touring folk act. I got to sing "So Close to Dreams" today on the stage in Abbott's store. Since we've been here, we've gotten to talk with the owner now, Greg. Greg's father was Percy Abbott's partner in Abbott's, and his father was a farmer, but he also built illusions growing up and did pretty well as a farmer, but was really fascinated by magic more so, and he brought his money, and he and Percy got together on the store Abbott's, and then when Percy, right before Percy died, he sold the store, and now Greg runs the place, and we were in there for a couple hours the other day, and we were back in there for a couple hours a day, and we'll probably go back for one last visit tomorrow. But Greg's been real open and warm to us, and Greg now runs Abbott's, and he let me sing a song up on the stage in Abbott's, and he said you can go back and watch the highlights of the moment. But he was real sweet about it. After I got done singing, he just goes, "Well, that was a wow." And then he said, there's been a lot of magic on that stage. There's not been very much music. And I might have been the first songwriter to take that stage. That felt pretty cool. Here's a song I sang on that stage. One of my grandmom's favorite songs. One of my mom's favorite songs. Hopefully one of them is watching, or both. Mark Wilson, that's the book that I got. So I haven't been reading your chats. I've been sort of thinking about the story. I'm definitely going to go catch back up. When a little boy thinks he's Superman. Then he almost can. He almost can fly. When he takes his toy truck and drives it through the sand. A boy moves mountains with his little hand. And the world really is magic. Nothing could be clearer. Nothing could be clearer. And then somebody says no, it's all a trick. Done with smoke and mirrors. Cigarettes make a last call. Whenever a man is down upon his knees, more than likely he's praying for redemption. When a little boy prays unto the Lord, he can almost hear the Lord listening. And the world really is magic. Nothing could be clearer. Nothing could be clearer. And somebody says no, man, it's all a trick. Done with smoke and mirrors. Cigarettes make a last call. Wrong harmonica. I wish I could magically put the right one in really fast and not backwards. Still Nathan. Superman, he almost can, he almost can fly, so close to dreams, so far from trials, and I'm that little boy again. Nothing could be clearer. Nothing could be clearer. Yeah, the world really is magic. Nothing could be clearer. Nothing could be clearer. That's the song I sang on the stage at Abbott's today. And it was fun to play again. Well, we're here. We're in the magic capital of the world. And, you know, it's really interesting. The history, the way this place got that reputation. I'm learning a lot since I came here, because I actually didn't know this, and I can't believe I didn't know this. But Percy Abbott and Abbott's is not the origin of the legend of this place. It's actually the fact that one of the most famous magicians of all time, Harry Blackstone, moved here in 1925. Harry Blackstone is actually the cause of it all. He's way more famous than Percy Abbott ever was. Harry Blackstone moved here in 1925, and every summer he would have his troupe, his entire troupe here. He traveled the world with a huge troupe. I mean, no telling how many people involved in a show like that back then. But they would meet here, and they would spend a few months every summer in Colon, Michigan, preparing their show for the world. And at the end of the summer, they would put on a special show in the Opera House to try it out before they hit the road with it. And he invited all of his magician friends from all over the world to come to Colon and move here, and a lot of them took him up on the offer. One of the people that took Blackstone up on that offer was Percy Abbott, who was from Australia. And Percy moved here, and he and Harry opened the magic store together. Now, I'm pretty sure I've met a lot of really sweet people in Colon, and I actually can't believe how open and friendly everybody has been to us. But that does not mean that their past is not riddled with a little bit of scandal, and a lot of people don't. I mean, the locals like to talk about it, but the town doesn't necessarily want to talk about it or advertise it. But Percy and Harry, it turns out, had a pretty major falling out, pretty significant falling out, and in fact, they would eventually if they saw the other one coming, they would cross the street to avoid crossing paths. So so that's a pretty interesting thing. And there's a lot going on here in Colon right now. I travel America for a living, and I seek out magic stores everywhere I go, and I know that even most major cities these days can't support a single magic store, and if they do, it's probably not a very good one, as far as I can tell. We're here in Colon, Michigan, with a population of 1,200 people, and they have two of the coolest magic stores I've ever seen. There's Abbott's Magic, and there's also Fab Magic. And they're both located here in Colon, and it blows my mind to think. Now part of my investigative journalist side starts picking up, and I start asking questions, and I start getting all kinds of interesting stories. And we went sleuthing a little bit more today, and you can go back and watch the highlights and see what I'm talking about. But I'll give you this one piece of information, and I won't go into conjecture too much. I'm still trying to learn more things. But the Fab Magic Store is actually backed by financially backed, silent partners, backed by the sons and daughters of Percy Abbott. So Abbott's only competition here in Colon, Michigan is actually being funded by the offspring of Percy Abbott himself. Now, I know that story is a lot more interesting than I am getting out of people, but we're still poking our noses in and asking around, and we do have a lot of good interviews and footage on the highlight reels that we are going to combine and eventually into a little special segment on our trip here to Colon, Michigan. The great news for fans of Hippie Fiasco Rides again, and we love you to death. The great news is that we came here excited. I mean, Liz and Chad were feeding vicariously a little bit off of my enthusiasm and my excitement, but they were excited too, and they were excited for me.
Very
But I think we all leave here affected and changed a little bit. Chad spent a couple hours in Abbott's today looking at everything and ended up spending some money and buying himself a few tricks. Liz is in a state where she has never wanted to know how a magic trick was done. She likes magic just the way it is, magical, and she doesn't want to mess with that. She doesn't want to know how it's done. She stayed in the car today when we went into Abbott's because she was a little distraught about some of the things that she saw when she was in there before. It's It's like seeing behind the curtain at the Wizard of Oz or something like that, or seeing Santa Claus naked.
Seeing Santa Claus naked.
And so that's her. But there was one point where Chad was here with the new tricks he had bought today, and I was here with the new tricks I was bought. Liz was like, "I can't look anywhere anymore." And what's up with the two creepy silent dudes? So good. But we're leaving. I'm re-inspired, reinvigorated. My lifelong. You might want to start drawing your bath, by the way.
Can I go over there?
Yeah, I can keep going until your bath is drawn.
I gotta pee too.
Well, maybe Chad, you can pee and start drawing your bath. Oh, should I show the footage of the present? I actually highlighted the footage of us buying you the present the day you were sick and we were at the flea market. Chad has one of his tricks here ready. I can actually show you us buying him the trick, and then Chad could maybe demonstrate his prowess. He's probably saving it for the tips.
Okay.
But this is never gonna get old. This thing is so amazing. It's never gonna get old. Peel one corner to vent it just a little bit.
You stick the cardboard in there?
So yeah, you put it all in there, but open a corner to vent it. So where was I? Oh, just the scandal. You know, I've always said there's only room for one magician at a time in the world, and if you look all through history, it seems to be a case. Almost every great magician, you know, there was one at a time, at least for the year. You know, one at a time, and in that sense, it's a very, very competitive craft. Way more competitive than even like blues music was or something. Sometimes I wish music was more competitive, but I guess all in all, I'm probably glad that it's not, because I mean it in a playful sense. But magic is a very, very competitive craft, and there is a lot of that going on, and I think that it still exists. I think the story of Colin is riddled is probably riddled with backstabbing, with competitive natures, with lots of interesting dynamics, and I think that it.
Have to do that.
Oh, you know, you just stuff it in there.
You stuff it in
Yeah.
there?
I think that thread of the storyline probably goes all the way through the history of Colin, all the way up into the present day, and I find that pretty fascinating as well. Our plan for tonight's show, I'm going to keep going a little bit longer. We're going to be here all night, of course. We're a 24/7 thing. But Liz is going to do a special episode of her show that she calls Off the Deep End. And she's going to do it from the bathtub and would like to talk about awkwardness. And Chad's going to do a special episode of his Just the Tips. But tips. Still working on how to say that, but that's a call-in show where you can call the hotline and talk about relationship questions, how to spice up a relationship, how to catch someone's eye, that kind of thing. So now they're making noise. Got this AC back on too. Should have walked by. Now it's just the camera and me looking like I'm weird. I am weird. Tomorrow, and then, all right, so we're going to be here one more day tomorrow. We're going to go back into Colin. We met a few people today, and we talked to them about the possibility. The graveyard in Colin houses the graves of many...
Dude, there's such a joke there.
There is.
Where you put like deep boxes deep in Colin. 6 feet deep in Colin. Excuse me.
So, not yet. You have to pee? Okay, go pee.
I'm coming out blazing, by the way.
So, tomorrow the plan is to go to the graveyard where Harry Blackstone is buried, and where many other famous magicians are buried, and hold a seance. Even though we don't know how to hold a seance, we're going to hold a seance in the graveyard. There's all these magicians. Liz might not go because she's afraid of that kind of thing.
I'm not afraid of that kind of thing. It's just scary. It's
for the seance.
It's just scary. That's what you said. That's what you said. I'm not afraid of that kind of thing. It's just scary.
It's serious business.
Right.
Tell them that
Like,
we've
not just like,
initiated
whoa,
help
fuck
from a
around.
local
Like,
who
you could
knows
get
how to
somebody
do
in there that
seance.
you don't want, you know? Like,
I'm not afraid. I don't think they.
Oh, the wrong person.
Their presence is welcome, and I don't. As long as they don't possess
it
me.
doesn't matter if the presence is welcome.
Is it cool if I just peed in the tub?
Oh yeah. Give us some
That's
color.
like-
Pipes.
Okay, so here's
We've also initiated help from a local person here who works at the pizzeria.
right.
who's
She
got
says
friends who know how to do seance.
she's got people that know how to do it, and they would be super into doing that. So
Maybe we should do my piece first, so they don't know what it is.
okay. Are you
I'm prepared.
are you done going to the?
Jeez.
Wait, I gotta let Chad back by. He's done going to the bathroom.
God, it's so tight and cramped
Just
back
open
here.
it up to
Oh,
unlock its spirit. You know, like
Yeah.
energy.
Excuse me.
We thought he might like that when we saw it.
With an outfit that you start advertising like that.
You. Chad, your nose.
Here was a pencil I made from a 1949 Abbott magazine table of contents there.
Check out the haggling that happens too. It's pretty classic.
We getting the sausage?
Oh, I don't know. How much for the sausage?
Sausages.
Are they gone already?
But for you,
Do we really want them though? I mean,
I don't know.
so good.
our road manager driver is sick in the hotel room right now, and he's a ham, he's a card, he's a sausage.
Is he disgruntled?
One of these is the droid.
And he's always looking for really awkward ways to come on the ladies, and this will be yet another awkward line central here.
Fantastic.
Kind
My
of.
sausage, we can just see it.
You know, brush it up. Unzip your zipper.
Oh, he would. Oh, he's doing the same.
Look at this, lady.
Oh
Even
no.
sick in bed, he's the first thing he's doing.
I don't know if it would squeeze down tight enough, but you know those mini M&Ms?
Yeah, those the cans. I know what you're
right.
talking about.
You could try to see
It
if
might
those
be
would
too
fit
big
inside.
around.
It might be, but it'd be
Almost
close.
too, it would be funny. I'm not gonna do it though,
Nope,
unless she tells me to.
I'm gonna do it. What does she say?
What about 6?
5.
5. How about 5?
See, 5. See, I won $1 less than you.
And when you're 45, you're going to have 27 tough totes in your garage and
She's
come
the
to a place like
haggler.
this.
Right?
2, 3, 4. Really? You want that? You want these?
5.
I don't want them. That's
They're
the
for
reason I'm not
Chad.
getting
They're for Chad.
They're
Come
for
on.
I'll
Chad.
buy them for
Chad.
Chad.
She's buying them for
for
Chad.
Chad.
My
Sausages.
money. See how it works?
Everybody needs some sausages.
Okay. I'm an easy sell.
All right. I don't need to sell it or anything, but I'll do it for the camera. How's that? But I pulled out the ace.
Here's the same guy doing a cool trick.
From a deck of cards. Now, which would you prefer?
The kings, I guess.
Kings. Okay, fantastic. Just lay out your hand. I'm going to put the kings face down your hand. Do you have a magic finger on your other hand? Oh, I'm glad you chose that one. All right. So, you have the kings, I have the aces, but they switch places, not all at once, but one by one. There's the first one, the king of spades. From your pile to my pile. Let's try again. There's a king of diamonds as well. So I have 2 kings and 2 aces. At least that's the last time I looked. Now I have 3 kings and just 1 ace. I was sure I had 3 kings and 1 ace, but if I look again, I've got all the kings.
Yay.
And you have all the aces.
Bravo! That's so well played. Good man.
Thank you. It's called Ricochet.
Yeah, that is. That's awesome.
There you go. The moment of the sausage buying. But it was a really nice guy too. Liked him a lot.
It's like, how about 4?
Yeah, the haggling was great. He was like, 7. He was 7, and Liz goes, "How about 6?" And he goes, "How about 5?" Here's an interesting thing that you can try if you got 4 quarters with eagles on them. It doesn't work with the new quarters, but if you can find ones with the eagles on them, and then just get yourself 4 cards, put a card over each quarter, like that, and then when they can't be seen, the eagles actually have a pretty amazing ability to travel at will, like that. 3. And like that, the last one goes. It's called Flight of the Eagles.
Did you buy that pad?
I did. I sort of had to.
Nice.
It frames things. Now there's the oldest trick in Magic that there is the cups and balls routine. There's actually petroglyphs. Is that what they're called? Hieroglyphs? Petroglyphs? Pyroglyphs?
Hieroglyphs are the ones in the temples in Egypt. Petroglyphs are done on cave walls.
Right. Well, there's actually depictions on walls by primitive cultures of the cups and balls routine. Seemingly the first depiction in history of magic. So a lot of people refer to this as the oldest trick in the book. I've never bought an actual set of cups and balls because all my life these things have been around. These are back home they're called Jefferson cups. And Jefferson cups are often given away as as presents at or trophies if you play in tennis or something like that. The Jefferson cups are like 2nd, 3rd place, things like that. And this is a terrible shot. I wish I could see you while I'm doing this. But I'll show you a little bit of the routine that I first learned. I'm working on a new routine for Hippie Fiasco, and of course I'm no expert at the cups and balls. This is all for fun, but a little wave of the wand will bring a little ball into the play. And that's what happens when you combine 3 cups and a magic wand. Suddenly there's these magic balls all over the place. And these balls have this interesting property with the cups. The balls can go right through the cups, just like that. That went all the way onto the floor. But a lot of interesting things start going on. Just keep these in a row, wave the wand like that, and there's the 3rd ball right there. Now you can do all kinds of things with these balls. I am not very good at patter. Patter is the word that magicians use for the storyline they tell during a trick. And every move is usually choreographed very well with the words that they say. And that's one place that I've failed. It's sort of like my storytelling at a folk show. I'm not I can't script it. I don't have the discipline, or I can't repeat myself. I don't know what it's all about, but eventually I'll develop the patter for my life and I'll be hugely successful. Because the patter is actually what makes the magic. Now you can do a lot of things at this point. Put a ball under each cup. You could pull this ball out just like that. It's now invisible in my hand. You could pick a cup. Liz, left or right? Right. Just like that it travels. Now if she had picked left, we would have done something a little different and done it like that. Now this is probably pretty confusing, so let's get rid of one of the balls. We'll get rid of one of the cups, and we'll just use 2 balls and 2 cups. And just like that. Tap that. Go over there. She better go check the bath, make sure it's not overflowing. As you can see, this ball has now traveled over to there, just like that. This is probably pretty confusing too. Let's get rid of another ball. Let's get rid of another cup. Let's just use 1 ball and 1 cup. Just like that. It's back. Put it in my pocket. It comes back. Pocket again. It always comes back. No matter what you do, it comes back. All right. One more time for those that aren't paying close attention. We got one ball, 3 cups. Wave of the wand like that. Which cup? Anybody's guess? Do you have a guess? This one? You think this one? Well, actually, he would have been wrong with any of the guesses. And there you go. Hippie Fiasco rides again. Cups and balls. I think I think Liz has maybe now drawn her bath. Is that true?
You want to do the
Where
final
did it
thing?
come from?
The tree, dummy. Do you want to do the final trick?
A
The
coot.
trick, Nathan?
What's that?
The final trick of the droid?
I don't know if we should go to the droid or just move it. Here, I can unplug this.
Are the numbers going up? Because I'm blasting people.
Yeah, we got 42. It's great. It was a great show.
I just
So-
invited Lebo and Tim Bloom to get on.
Oh, nice.
I'm like,
So in love with all you guys. Thank you for being here. Hippie Fiasco rides again. A lot of people might not know exactly what's going on. And I would like to take this moment, now that we have so many visitors and guests, just to play a little 3-minute long movie that talks about the origin of Hippie Fiasco rides again. I'm going to catch up on the chat, see who's here, and we got some whiskey, so we're here for as long as you are, and we're here after you're gone too. By the nature of the beast. But there might be some people that are just discovering us for the first time, and it really means a lot to me because we're trying to tell a story. Hippie Fiasco Rides Again is probably the greatest story I've ever tried to tell. And I couldn't tell it without Chad and Liz, and we were out here, and it's a story that's going to be told. It's just a question now of how many people we're going to get a chance to tell it to. And I think it's a pretty inspiring story. I know it's changed all of our lives. And so I'm going to play this little video for you. On the origin.
And while they're on there, talk about the 2 more segments. So people are like,
We are going to have another. Liz Bunny's going to do a special episode of her Off the Deep End coming up from the bathtub.
and Gypsy is taking the shit.
And then Chad Galactic's going to be doing just the tips. All right. Well, hello there. How are you?
Good.
Come say hi to the webcast.
Oh, see, all my friends are on it now.
Oh, really?
Is it there?
You'll be able to see yourself on that thing.
Oh, great. So what is a hippie fiasco exactly? Where did this come from?
It happened to us actually last year. I flew out to play the Mystic Garden Party in California, and I was supposed to get like $1,500, and so I bought a flight and I flew out, and I was just gonna play the show and fly back the next day, and the festival went bankrupt and I didn't get paid, and I'd paid like $700 to get out there or something. So I was like, we in weekend warrior mode when I went out there, but all of a sudden something shifted in me, and we canceled my flight home and booked a 9-show, 8-day tour in 12 hours from a hotel room with Facebook. And we called it Hippie Fiasco Rides Again. And that was the birth. And we sat, Chad and Liz and I sat in a hotel room right outside of that festival and got the room for an extra day and booked this week-long tour. And we called it Hippie Fiasco Rides Again right out of the gate. And the first gig on Tuesday was in Chico, and this guy comes up to us after the show and was like, I make t-shirts for a living, come to my shop. And we went there, and we left the first night of the tour with Hippie Fiasco t-shirts. The second night of the tour, that poster was designed, actually that one was designed for it. And there was a fiasco at this artist's house who ended up designing Dear Puppeteer album artwork. And it was Hippie Fiasco Rides Again with Nathan Moore, that first one with the pig, all the cell phone calls we were making.
I thought it was a caterpillar.
Well, it's a
cut into
million
sections
things.
of meat.
But she, that poster was at my second. So all of a sudden I had like these shirts. I had, these awesome posters. None of this energy had ever surrounded a Nathan Moore tour ever. People participating, like making art themselves. It had never happened, and I always just that's what I always wanted, was to be a part of something that had some vibrancy, and it felt like it was not just me, and it was something we were all doing together, and it was so beautiful. It like was my favorite week of touring of my life. And ever since that week, the three of us have been like, we got a Fiasco again sometime. So when I flew out this time, we left a week at the end of my actual tour opening for ALO to Fiasco, which was no book gigs, just see what we get. And we did that week, but we were like, this isn't the magic. Because the other one was like this great leap of faith. And so we canceled my flight home again and decided to do a 4-month version that covered all of America.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're in the middle of it now.
That's awesome.
That's it. And it's so hard to tell that story in 30 seconds, which we have to do every day. Like as we're trying to turn people on, we're trying to build it and grow it and get people to understand what it is. Exactly. And you've heard about it. We've talked to you about it. We've given you a card and you still didn't get it.
Yeah.
And so that's what we've been spending the week here doing. All right, Liz is getting ready in the bathroom, and while that happens, here's a little bit of a highlight reel of the first leg of this experiment. This is going to get you in touch a little bit more with Liz's show, off the deep end, with Chad Galactic's personality. He's my road manager, but he's also worked as a star of the show. Just let it go. He's got a special episode of Just Tips coming up in a little while. What if the alien was a girl? Gave you a message for the world? Would you let everybody know? Would you just let it go? What if no one would believe? How would it feel to seem insane? Knowing what you see, plain as day.
Hi, I'm Digit the Midget, and I've been asked by Hippie Fiasco to give a talk. We are traveling for a month and a half already, streaming our life 24/7, and people keep asking, is this camera on? What do you think? The camera's on! It's always on! We're not turning it off! You guys can participate in what we call the Morchestra, where maybe you bring some musical instruments, you can clap, or you can play kazoos from where you sit. This is called the Morchestra. We want you to play with us, so do it! Do it! Do it!
Hey, you hippies. I'm here to tell you all about how you can make a paper mache lemon shaker so you can be a part of the Morchestra. So just pay attention. It's real easy.
Why is it not okay, it's recording. Recording. All right, so let's start all over. Hi, Chad Galactic here, just back in from the pirate party. Stealing the stream from the commercial with the sock puppets. Hey, I ate a Leclerc out of the thing. No, I'm just kidding. So, all right, now we're officially recording. So now I can really kick on the humor. Midget in a rocking chair. Man, I've been contemplating women and how complex they are. And I just can't figure them out.
To my Facebook?
Maybe they should have sex right now.
Yeah. All right, let's get creepy. It's now almost in 8 minutes. It's gonna be 2 o'clock here. The creeping hour. We want 2 of our unknown victims. They're not named yet. I'm just gonna call random names out of a hat, and you guys have to do it. You guys have to do it.
Zing! Does the truth sting or is it the nails?
Chad!
Dude, whatever. This is my program. I can say what I want.
What if it's hurting me inside?
What? It's hurting you? I didn't realize you were so religious.
That's the night Liz actually fell asleep with the laptop on her chest, and it was there. It was in New Orleans, and then it was there for several hours. She was actually asleep for several hours there, with the camera right on her.
My mom took me. My mom and my stepdad. They were trying to figure out, what to do, and how to this. This is funny, quote unquote, save me. And they took me to see a priest, which it still kind of blows my mind because we weren't brought up with any form of religion whatsoever. We have gone to church like twice in my life. Tell that fool we are tomorrow's eternal slap in the face. We are for its restless seekers, a soda pop rock generation. We are would-be's and rusty earthquakes and reality romance novels and unbuttoned cufflinks and running with scissors fraying ends upon ends upon ends. This is this and now, and we are all waiting in between the lines of immortality and decomposition. And this is a wicked kind of love and an adoring hate, and for every stone thrown in the crowd someone goes down enlightened. And this is walking, 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 running in a circle. And these are electric mornings and brush fire burnings that we light our souls off of, and we smoke each other's dreams and watch them slowly form the clouds. And we are collectively, step by step, painting every barren wall with light. We write in ink, we write in pen, we are infinite, we are something in this nothing, we are for the ones to come. And if that's tragic, well, I'm just fine with it.
Hey.
Be very quiet. I'm hunting rabbits.
This is the second time that's come out tonight.
Dodo, Dodo. Kill the rabbit, kill the rabbit, kill the rabbit, blah, 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 blah. Kill the rabbit.
This is Liz with 2 little rescued bunnies. Hippie and Fiasco. They're coming with us.
It's true, but I mean, I'm not even trying to say it's integrity. A lot of my integrity comes from cowardice, to be honest. I like to at the same time think that I've mastered a particular aspect of clowning that suits my personality. I can't just do all things clown related.
Ooh, buttering. I was on a roll and needed some buttering. Trying to get away with my car was sputtering. Trying to sit and stay, but my heart was fluttering. Trying to think of something to say, but my words were stuttering. I was on a roll that needed buttering.
Who said that?
Someone just put buttering up there as another rhyme.
That's what she said.
Out of the guttering. I thought I'd lay in the gutter. I thought I'd lay in the gutter and come up with the words that needed uttering.
How about cluttering?
Oh,
the cluttering.
oh, the clutter in my brain was keeping me. Clutter in my brain was too much to get around. Yeah. Well, the clutter in my brain was too much to get around. Tried to get away, but my car was sputtering. Tried to sit and stay, but my heart was fluttering. Tried to think of what to say, but my words were stuttering. I guess I was on a roll that needed butter. And I tried to lay in the gutter and think of other words that needed uttering. But the clutter in my brain was too much to get around. Woohoo! All right, we got a new song. I'm sorry, I got to stop and say we've written another one, ladies and gentlemen. Couldn't do it without you.
I told her I had applied for several jobs this morning, and I was lying through my teeth. I slept late again. I mean,
what were you doing last night?
Really?
Clowning around?
Are we on?
Oh yeah, Hippie Fiasco rides again.
Are people chiming in?
There's 16 of us, including me.
Hey guys, I just want to say, what do I want to say? I think it's awesome that y'all are keeping tabs on my friend Nathan Moore, keeping track of him. It's a wonderful thing that he's doing, and you know that. But at some point, I want my friend back. So, you know, when you guys are done with him,
July.
Yeah, all right.
We get our life back in July.
Oh,
some people are scared of this sort of tube atmosphere. You know, how we're all in the tube right now. Nathan's having a good time doing this for you. Nathan is having a good time doing this for you. So remember that. So have a good time as you're viewing this tube.
My 6 strings, 1 head, 1 mouth, 2 hands, 2 feet. My 6 strings don't walk, I'm walking down this model street. Gonna write a letter. Dear puppeteer, I don't want to play here. I don't want to stay here. Dear puppeteer.
I didn't find that so excited. Nathan Moore's here. Seriously, that was so awesome.
What if the miracle was you? Would you let everybody know? Would you just let it go? What if no one would believe? How would it feel to see them say knowing what you saw, plain as day, plain as day.
Okay. Hi there. Oh, just a minute. We're having a viewer thing. Yes. Chad Galactic here. How are you guys doing? The numbers are fantastic. 39 people of 198. Who knows what the fuck that means? But this is a 3-part special we're doing here.
More than that. 26 creepers, 22 lurkers.
I know. Killing. All right, well, this is a special webcast that we're doing. It's a 3-part special. The first part was Nathan talking about the magic capital of the world.
Magic in my life.
And he's been feeling it for so long, and so glad that this trip was able to get him and us to this flea market in Colon. Pretty much, it's like so rad here. I could see how you would get stuck in Colon, you know. He's really immersed himself in. He dove head first right into Colon. You know, it tain't a scary thing, you know. It's just right next door to Balls and Michigan. But anyway, so that was the first part. Sometimes you can't get out of Colon. That's why you eat fiber.
Exit only.
Exit only. If you guys were paying attention earlier, we were driving in and it said, "Welcome to Colon." And on the way out, it was like, "Exit only." Well, duh, who doesn't love Colon jokes or T-Raw? So that was the first part of the show, live from the corporate headquarters here in Colon. And the second part is going to be Liz Bunny, who is warming up her tub right now. She's cooling down her tub. She's going to be talking about the webcast and how people who aren't aware of Hippie Fiasco, who don't know us, their take on it. We've seen an entire spectrum.
What it's like to have a camera on.
Yeah, what it's like to have a camera on you that you maybe didn't even know was on you at first. And so she's going to be talking about that, and then I'm going to be doing a show called Just the Tips, which is a phone-in program. And what that's about is it's a call-in portion of the program where you call me and ask me advice or give me scenarios about relationships, and if there's a relationship that you want to have happen, if you're interested in somebody, what can you do to make that happen? If you're currently in a relationship that's new, what can you do to, make it super spicy? And if you're in an old relationship, what can you do to heat the flame back up? I'm really good at that sort of stuff. I maybe can't use it in my personal life. It's really easy for me to be objective because I'm not emotionally attached. So that portion is going to involve some of your homework. That's what I'm telling you, right? You got to do some homework right now and maybe prepare some questions to ask so that you have something ready when it's your turn to call in. I'm going to get this computer moved over to the bathroom. But oh shit, what is that?
Excuse me. QuickTime Player 7 needs your attention.
Ooh, and the double chin cam. All right, so this is our hotel room, and we are going to turn the camera for a special event right now. We're going to tune in this way. Hi, I'm Nathan Moore. I used to work at Subway.
I bought this bowl. It's just like a plastic bowl. They said it was magic. The guy swore to me, he's like, I've been checking you out at Hippie Fiasco Rides Again, and I think you're going to love this bowl. And we were playing with the bowl last night, and something did happen that was pretty crazy. And I still can't figure out how it happened. I mean, we got the tablecloth here, an ordinary table, and a bowl. And as you can see, the table has nothing hidden in it. The bowl, just put the curtain in there, the tablecloth, but then just like that, still can't figure out where these things are coming from.
Anybody got some water and some sugar?
Hey, we got a lemon. Anybody want a lemon? Anybody want to make some lemonade? How about margaritas?
God, it's after dark. Margaritas. It smells really citrusy here in our poopy smelling room. Get the odor app.
You guys have a good time. Liz will be interacting with you. She has something she'd like to say. It's time for Off the Deep End with Liz Bunny.
Off the deep end from the deep end. So,
We can put it on the toilet.
so I'm not wearing I'm wearing my bikini top, but my vagina's hanging out.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Hold on, that's all wet. Hold on.
Here.
Yeah, that's wet.
Use that one.
Yeah,
Here, use
whatever.
this.
It's super wet though.
It's not wet. You are dripping.
It's a $3,000 computer.
On the doorknob there.
There you go. Okay.
Dripping.
All right. Don't type. No. What do you need to type?
I don't need to type anything.
Yeah. Is that good? Got it?
Mhm.
Think I can do that?
Yeah. Well, I have pants on. I have a bathing suit on. I wanted to talk about
Unplug me and
what do I want to talk about?
the camera and its effect.
Oh.
Okay.
Close the door.
Use this set for your show.
I like to be alone when I talk to you guys. I don't like anybody else in the room because I have ADD and they're distracting. I don't need a priest, right? Well, what I want to talk about is how we've come across a few people since we started doing this who know that the camera's there. They've been given opportunities to express that they don't want to be on camera or they're not into it, and we're very complying. And can you turn me down in there? It's really loud. It can hear me on the other side of this door here. So the first, well, I guess they all kind of happened right around the same time, but it was the first instance was this, first big instance was this girl in New Orleans who didn't like being on cameras, and she expressed that she didn't want to have anything to do with being on the camera, but she expressed it in a way as to where she made it seem like she wanted to be on camera, and she was constantly getting in the camera space and going, "Fuck you, Hippie Fiasco, blah blah blah," and then she proceeded to moon the camera a couple times, and that to me doesn't really state very clearly that you don't want to be on camera or that you don't like cameras at all. Granted, she was a little drunk, but if you didn't want to be on camera, then seriously, you can take us aside or just really seriously say, "I don't want to be on camera." Don't act like don't act like you actually want to be on camera and don't get in the camera's face. And then that same evening, had an incident where I was sitting in New Orleans in the Blue Nile. There's one stool at the bar open, and I sat down in it, and it was very awesome for me because the whole entire night I had been trying to find my comfort zone, and I had been at the previous venue feeling rather like claustrophobic and uncomfortable, and I had finally gotten a drink and sat down in this bar, and I was very excited, and I felt good, and I just wanted to sit there and drink my drink and listen to the music from my chair, and Nathan was standing with me, and then I think he went off to go take the camera and watch some music or something, I don't know, and this group of boys was standing to the side of me, and one of them turned around and almost ran like smack into me and was like, "Oh, hey," and got to talking, and it was a really cool conversation for me, because his name is in reference to a Neil Diamond song that I absolutely love, and that as a kid and still to this day, if I hear it, it makes me cry. And it also makes me think of my mom. And that's how our conversation started out, was me telling him about the story about the Neil Diamond song. Yeah, we talked for a little while, and the first thing I did when I met him, besides exchange names, was I gave him our business card. I gave him the Hippie Fiasco business card, which says exactly what we're doing on it, and he took it and looked at it for a second and said, "Oh, so you're promoting yourself?" And I was like, "Well, not necessarily, but that's what what's going on right now." And that is kind of, like, you get one of those cards and you look at it, and that's an overall disclaimer, like we're handing you. You're now aware that if you read that card, you're now aware that we have cameras on us, and 24/7 we have cameras on us. And yes, he failed to read that card fully, and we continued to talk, and then at some point, I think I mentioned to him again, and he asked me, what I was doing in New Orleans, and I told him again what I was doing, and I showed him where the camera was, and he flipped his lid. He thought that Nathan and I were playing a joke on him, and he just flipped his lid. He was super pissed off and like threatening to sue, but the thing about that, I was so taken aback by, was that he was super upset about being tricked into being on camera or something. But what happened was he then proceeded to be very rather violent towards me and aggressive, and I tried to take Nathan. I had Nathan's ukulele on my back, and he tried to take that off and was like swinging me around the room, and like at the very end of our conversation, he went pushing me. But while this is all going on, and we're having this confrontation, and we're talking about it, and I'm trying to, explain to him, like, listen, like, this isn't, this isn't a trick on you, this is what's going on, and, he was constantly, again, getting in the camera, like, coming towards the camera. Like, if you did not want to be on camera, and you're upset about being on the camera in the first place, why go back to the camera, or towards the person who's holding the camera? But he proceeded to come back at the camera, saying things like, "You're playing a very dangerous game into it," and just getting very aggressive. So that made me really sad. What made me sad was how aggressive he got, which is, is what it is, but that's just his personality, and I'm glad that I didn't end up talking to him further, if that's the kind of person he is. But then another instance happened in Fayetteville, and it was later on in the evening, and everyone had had plenty to drink. I was at this bar that we went to called Georgie's, and this woman had drank too much, and she got sick, and was getting sick, and we had the camera out there, but we weren't filming her getting sick. We're only gonna film me get sick. But this one guy that was out there, no matter what we said to him, like no matter how many times we said the camera's not on her, the camera's not on her, it's not on her at all. The guy just wouldn't have anything to do with it, and he got really violent and was like, "Don't fucking film her, that's just wrong," and made this huge scene. And the trend that I'm seeing is that all these people who are very offended or taken aback or don't want to have anything to do with the camera or being on it make these really big scenes, on the camera, and they continuously come at the camera, which is just counterproductive in my mind. So here's the other side of the coin. We're in Colon, Michigan, and some people, well, the people here have just like embraced the camera, and they don't pay it no mind whatsoever. They're just like, okay, well, there's the camera, or they being in the magic store. There's some things that like they didn't want said on camera, so they were just very polite and saying, well, I can't say this on camera, or I don't want to be on camera for this, and he turned the camera off, and it was off, and they said what they had to say or did what they had to do, and that was it. And the camera came back on. But what Chad said. What Chad said something recently that kind of got me thinking a little bit, and he said, well, maybe he said maybe it's because nobody here are stoners. No one in Michigan's a stoner. No one in Cullen's a stoner. And that got me thinking on whether that's true or not. It's just a little joke that Chad kind of made, a little observation. But it got me thinking on people and what they have and what they have to hide. And I think that the difference that we're seeing between Colon and like these other places is that the people that we run into who don't like the camera, maybe they have something to hide, or they feel that they've got to protect something in some way, which is fine, but still it doesn't really count for the aggression. I know that when I was talking to one of the boys in New Orleans after their one friend got really upset about being on camera, what he said to me was, he said, well, I have a girlfriend in San Francisco. And I said, okay, well, that's cool. And he's like, well, maybe some things just shouldn't be on camera. And then I kind of like, and I was like, okay, well, I get that too. And then I kind of like put it together, and I was like, well, I think he just kind of admitted to not being, whatever, not being, I don't know. He admitted to something, and then the way that he said what he said, and that, you know, and that I understand. That's his own deal. But I mean, with technology these days, it's kind of crazy. You're everywhere, and I think that in that scenario, if that's what's going on, well then maybe it's not our fault. And that's what I'm saying. It's not our fault that you have something to hide. And if you have something to hide, I'm in a public place, and anyone can see you. Anyone could see me there talking to that person. All the creepers, just because they were in different parts of the country, or the world, or the country, it's like anyone else seeing me talk to somebody in a bar. It's, you know, if you have something to hide, well then, maybe you shouldn't be trying to hide something in plain view. I don't really know how I feel about that. Oh, let's get back to Colin. Let's get back into Colin. The people in Colin have been really, really amazing and really sweet and receptive of the camera, and which is interesting, because magic is all about secrets and keeping secrets and hiding things in plain view, and I felt a little bit when I was filming at the auction, and when we went into the magic store, I felt a little like I was taken aback. I was like, oh, well, I don't know if we should be here. I don't know if I should be filming in here. What, you know, like what am I allowed to show and what am I not allowed to show, and how much do I want to see, and how much. And I was very worried about the people who run the stores and them feeling invaded, which they didn't whatsoever. They really liked. They didn't feel invaded. They were very responsive, and they told stories for the camera, and they acted like it wasn't even there. You know, they were just like, oh, well, that's cool. Well, I'm just gonna talk. You know, I'm just not even gonna. I'm not even gonna. You know, I'm gonna go about my day, and then if they had something that they didn't want on camera, they simply said to us, well, I can't say this on camera, and or I can't show this on camera, and that's how you do it. And people in Colin, as all these magicians and tricksters, that have a lot to hide, in maybe a different sense. I don't know. It's all very interesting to me. What do you guys think about just people being afraid or of the camera? Oh, I love that, Logan Larry. That's a great story. Yeah, they were definitely a little tossed to Mikey, the people who acted irrationally. But, I don't know, that's a whole different beast. Um, hmm. Yeah, people have their guard up, but I don't know. There's a way to go about what has been so surprising to me is how aggressive people get about the camera and how they go about um, telling us that they don't want to be on it. That's what's really blowing my mind. Like that interaction that I had in New Orleans really made me sad. It and it was scary. That now that I look back on it, like, and that, you know, that was just that one person, but you know, I've seen the person in Fayetteville who, you know, thought, you know, who was quote unquote protecting this girl and telling us to get out of there. All he was doing was screaming at us to get out of there. He wasn't doing anything for the girl. Well, I was like sitting there rubbing the girl's back while she was puking and getting her water. And he just proceeded to yell at Nathan and you know, smack a card out of his hand and stomp off. I don't know, I guess it's just drunk people. Wait, I think it's also, what's that word? Love and Larry? Oh, upbringing, yeah. Yeah, people are repressed. I don't know if that's like necessarily, that does how it all plays into it, but I'm kind of thinking about like today I'm thinking about more people like having things to hide that they're afraid of and still like bringing those things. I don't know, I'm just really like confused about what the one person said is, you know, the one guy said to me in New Orleans, it was just like, well, I have a girlfriend in San Francisco and some things just shouldn't be recorded. It's like, well, either you better have a way to explain yourself, or maybe you shouldn't have something to explain. Yeah, I don't know. It's not that they get to me personally, it's that it just gets me thinking about these types of things and the way people, it's been a very interesting sociology experiment, this whole hippie fiasco thing, and just how people relate to the camera. Excuse me, Mr. J-Mo. Your angle's boring. Listen here. I have a bathing suit on. This is a family program, James. family program. There's children watching. No, a family program. Maybe at High Sierra. You're coming to High Sierra, right? Well, here's what I have to hide. If it was just you guys, maybe. But one thing that I keep forgetting that is coming to my defense right now is, Nathan always says it, but it's not just you guys watching, it's eternity too. So this gets recorded and it's out there in public domain, and the next thing I know, I could be running for senator or president or something, and then there's this video of me in a hot tub in Colon, Michigan, slipping a strap. So, and then my whole campaign is shot. They're afraid of slipping straps in the bath. I have eternity watching, right? Well, what are you gonna do? You're gonna have to answer to somebody someday for anything that you do. Whether it's a loved one or God or whatever you believe in, or yourself. And I'm no saint, that's for sure. But I do try to be good by other people and myself. And I know that there is a right way and a wrong way to handle a situation. And no one should have pushed me. And no one should have smacked that card out of Nathan's hand. And no one should be so, I don't know, be so afraid to be good. I don't know. It's really steamy in here. I'm just a kook, James. Come on. I am the... Oh, I'm the queen of Crybaby Island. You're the king of Kook Mountain. Right. Yeah. When that guy was swinging me around by Nathan's ukulele case and wouldn't let go of it, I even got like a little bit of aggressive. Like, that's the thing, aggressive people just promote aggressive energy and they put that out there, and you can get souped up. It can sink into you, and I almost, if he hadn't let go, I was about to knee him in the balls, which is not very nice of me, but he wouldn't let go of me, and at that point it's just protecting myself. I don't really have anything else to say, so Nathan or Chad, will you come get this thing out of here? You guys should all donate to Hippie Fiasco Rides Again. There's a donate button on the website. You can just hit donate, and maybe I'll get out of the bathtub.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you, Nathan.
All right, I'm gonna get this hooked back up for Chad's part of the show. Get some thermal. Oh shit! We have to create that again. I can do it though. Will you cut that off over there? Well, that was cool. Off the deep end. All right. Now bear with me for a second. Wow. This is a really fun night. Thanks for being here, everybody. Oh, I'm going to sit down with you for a second. We're not in a hurry. Wow, I'm on the set of Just the Tips. Let's get it creepy in here. Time to get it creepy. See what we can do. Here, we're at 2:37, so I'm gonna have to save that first. Here, let's end this segment with one more magic trick here.
Yeah.
And then I'll save it. And then we'll get creepy. Alright, I got $1, 2, 3, 4, $5. $5 bills. And you know that they say there's no money in magic. Well, but thank God there's magic in money. I think we're all gonna be okay. All right, I'm saving. Actually, it looks good.